And see something that was not able to catch at Regency because all that glass was gone. You can tell that this was a 70s build, and it looks amazing. Welcome to the Northlake Mall. The Northlake Mall, located in DeKalb County, Georgia, right off the 285 perimeter, was opened in 1971 and home of anchors Davidson's, Sears, and JCPenney. While it still maintains its brutalist design on the outside, it has been updated a couple of times in the years since. This was one of the Macy's that had the backstage put in to drive business, and as you can see that there is a little bit of foot traffic going through. And take a look at this incredible fountain right here, as it's been a while since I managed to get to a mall that has had some renovations back in the 90s, and then about a decade ago, which still has these. While owned by Simon and managed by them, it was spun off into a real estate trust called Washington Prime Group, which acquired Gimler Realty Trust, forming WP Gimler. And a couple years after that, in 2016, it was sold to Texas-based ATR Corniff Partners. I tried looking up information on Corniff Partners onto what they're doing with this property, and I did not find a single thing on their site. But a news article from last year stated that they recently acquired the Sears property during the major sell-off, and hopefully that will get used for another anchor when Sears closes in September. While this mall does not have a lot of the darker tones in it from its 70s build, it still has a lot of the aesthetics from the redevelopment back in 1993, and several other additions from a decade ago, like the TVs. While it has still been maintained, there are a lot of non-national or regional chains in there, but it's not necessarily a dead mall. Not yet, anyways. There are a number of locations that are empty, including that somewhat of an anchor space that held a Parisian, but I'll touch on that later. Northlake is home to an added-on food court, which got called the Food Garden. Part of the redevelopment in the 90s, added an entrance to the JCPenney's, and it just oozes 90s aesthetics. And it's obvious to tell how it's got called the food garden. A lot of plant life and, well, trying to be witty with naming conventions. The skylights in the extended area are absolutely amazing. Compared to some of the sites that are later on in the video, which has the skylighting from the 70s, which is really pleasing in its own right. But yeah, it's not often that you see a lot of stuff for old payphones, let alone them catalogs. Telephone books, I mean. Seen them in the Northlake Mall, but where else are you going to see something in a older mall? After the eventual mergers with Davidson's and Macy's, and further on, Rich's and Macy's, that anchor space won out for having Macy's that's so close together with another mall, this one being North DeKalb. So because of that, it's been still somewhat active, and the addition of the backstage is definitely helping. While it is more lighter tones and 90s aesthetics, it's very obvious that a lot of the 70s aesthetics throughout the whole mall still remained. As I come upon the Sears, it was the other month that I was recording this, but there's still quite a bit there. And you'll see right where the former Parisian was, which turned into a Kohl's a while after that whole Belk Parisian buyout. And they didn't put in a Belk, but for a while Kohl's was there, and back in 2016 they left the mall. The Sears is a little bit of a more unique experience for me, since not only did it have a separate auto center, which I regretfully did not have a chance to go in. It's probably even closed by now anyways, but has photo studio, Avis, and Vision places in there. While there's still a considerable amount of stuff in the Sears, you can tell that there's a lot of empty space in the upcoming minutes. And for a while I actually did do a little bit of shopping here, try to catch a couple deals, which was nice. But still unfortunate that retail places like this are failing hard, and people are managing. Sears are still doing a really bad job about keeping Sears going, and Kmart. As I headed outside to see what was around, any other older aesthetics, they had the Sears.com click-up kiosks that you could do the pickups, which obviously no longer running. And the old package pickup, lettering from probably back in the 70s. I decided to go out, take a look, and got that big old American flag. Yay, patriotism. And decided to go in the other entrance. See if I could find anything interesting on that side. And with my luck, I did. When they do sell off their fixtures, I hope to get that those directory signs, but we'll see. I don't know what was in that space. I don't know if it was just an extension of the photo studio or what. It was interesting that they were using that for storage. And as y'all saw in my preview video, I went inside the portrait studio to take a look, see what was still there, which they didn't touch at all, besides blocking it off. It was pretty neat to take a look inside, because who knows how many of these will be left in a couple years, if at all. While shopping here, I spoke to the cashier, and she was pretty bummed that the Sears is closing, but really intrigued about what I was doing. And this is my first time using my Shop Your Way rewards in like probably 10 years, since I lived out in Bourbonnais, Illinois, back when they had a Super Kmart, which unfortunately got torn down, and there's now a Meijer there. RIP. Yeah. If the prices were a lot better, I probably would shop at Sears more, since there are still a couple out in Atlanta. And there's some good clothes. And I just passed by the Vision Works, which was still quite busy. There was a decent amount of foot traffic in the Sears overall, but once that anchor closes, I'm sure the other couple of spaces on that side of the wing will be leaving in due time if nothing is done with the space like was done with the Kohl's. As I exit out into the main part of the mall, you can see some of the amazing skylights that are still there from the 70s, if I remember correctly. And, of course, more 90s aesthetics that look, well, so 90s. Aside from a furniture store and a couple little other small things, I didn't see too much foot traffic this side of the mall, so who knows? Maybe this year's closing won't really affect the mall that much, regardless. And as I go up to the directory, you can already see that the Kohl's is still listed on there, even though it's been closed for a couple years. So while the property management group does take a little bit of care in it, it's not enough. while y'all saw the title standing in Percipice, it's more because it's, again, not a dead mall, but it's on the way there. Unless something can be done with the major anchor space and the minor anchor space, and so the other stores there. In the next couple of years, it could honestly go either way. And while that's a sad fact in reality, I hope it does get better. While there are a lot of other malls in the area, like Perimeter Mall, and several that I can't remember offhand, that are giving this one a big run for its money, it still has that possibility of turnaround. Unlike Northlake Mall or Gwinnett Place Mall, as y'all have seen me covered in previous videos. As I walk out one of the main entrances, there are a lot of decent amount of places. As you can see, it's a lot of local places that occupy these spaces. A couple of restaurants, and something that is a big old reminder of the 90s. That font choice for Northlake nails. No other way to scream out 90s. Something like that. There are several storefronts outside here that are active, so it looks good, looks busy, but underneath that nice facade is just a facade. This mall is on the decline and is in trouble, but we'll see how it goes in the coming couple of years. As I close this video up, I want to thank y'all for giving this a watch. And be sure to give a like, comment, and if you haven't already, subscribed. And give a shout out to my Patreon subscribers, supporters, what have you. Thanks for supporting me through this over the past year. Can't believe that I've been doing dead malling and urbex stuff for over a year now. And I got a lot more coming. So, thanks again for watching. And I'll see you in the upcoming Richland videos.